We have Grandmaster Vasif Durarbayli taking on Hikaru Nakamura here at the Naroditsky Memorial Blitz 2026. And Vasif opens the game with pawn to e4. He arrives a bit late to the game. Hikaru takes his time for the first move. Here he's laying back in his chair, trying to think what should he do in a 3-minute, 2-second increment scenario. Thinking for nearly 19 seconds is insane. Knight c6, bishop b5. We have the Berlin played here, and Vasif instantly goes for the anti-Berlin. Takes, knight d2. Notice you can't take on e5 because of queen d4 double attack. So knight comes to d2, and Hikaru now just trying to recollect his theory. There's no need to defend the pawn just yet, so you can even castle. You can play bishop maybe to e6. He goes bishop e6, pawn to b3 played. And now knight comes back to d7 to defend here. Vasif jumps with his knight to c4, attacking the e5 pawn. Pawn comes up to f6. So essentially, black has the bishop pair and has a very nice position, but what white has is this nice structure, no doubled pawns, and will try to trade off one of the bishops so that black is not left with a bishop pair. This is the battle in the anti-Berlin setup, where white is just angling to play with the pawn structure. Okay, now b7 and c6 under pressure, so natural move could very well be rook b8 to defend the pawn. But players like Hikaru are super experienced. They know that, for example, a move like bishop b6 would work. If you take here, queen c8 and the knight is trapped. These are the kinds of traps you see when you prepare openings. And so Hikaru looks upwards. He's trying to recollect his preparation. He comes back and Vasif instantly defends queen e7. Now again, knight b7 doesn't attack the queen, so you can play a5, even castles, and then rook b8 and the knight is trapped. Isn't that amazing? So taking the pawn is not a good idea. And now Vasif starts to think. So his preparation is kind of done. He castles here. 1 minute 30 seconds. Now this is in blitz. Sometimes this is not the most ideal usage of time. You've just played 10 moves and you've used up half your time, but it's okay because your opponent has also played that way. Takes, and an excellent decision by Hikaru to long castle. You can see that Hikaru has played this so smartly. He's now going to hurl his pawns down the board. Meanwhile, Vasif needs to figure out what is he doing. He needs to play on the queen side, maybe a4, b4. He first goes queen e1. I wonder where the queen is heading to. Maybe queen b4 to trade the queens. Bishop b4, not so sure. Can Hikaru begin with his play on the king side? Hikaru has 1 minute 40 seconds here. And you can see him visibly relaxed at the board. g5. Queen comes up to e3, attacking the pawn on a7. King b8, calmly played. These sacrifices will not work because white does not have pieces in the attack. Knight d2 and knight to f8. The idea is to go knight g6, knight f4, h5, h4, g4. These are natural plans which are flowing for black. Bishop c3. Meanwhile, white is now setting up the pieces to start pushing on the queen side themselves. But black has such a huge head start. Knight g6, b4, h5 played. Okay, now Vasif is like, should I do something on the king side? He goes a4, h4 played by Hikaru. And if you play b5, I can simply close down the position with c5. So he plays b5. Anyway, I mean, taking would be a bad decision because then the rook opens up. So c5 played, a5, b6 by Hikaru. A very bold decision, that too made very quickly. Because now what white can do is try to double along the a file, maybe with rook a4. But I think what Hikaru's understood is that he simply needs to play rook to d7 and defend it laterally. Whenever you take, he'll take back with the c pawn. Bishop b2 played. And now knight f4, jumping in. He goes knight to f4, rook a3 played. And now g4. Hikaru's confidence on the board is amazing. Both players have roughly 40 seconds. Time scramble is coming. Rook a1 and quickly played rook d7, defending the a7 pawn. Vasif's attack has come to a standstill. He needs fresh reinforcements, but where are they coming from? It's unclear. A move like g3 is almost suicidal. Knight to f1. For Hikaru now, is h3 a good move? He goes rook d8. So he's trying to actually play on both sides, king side and in the center. Because now c4. Ooh, that could be very spicy. And he plays c4. Wow. So with these two pawns knocking on the doors of the king side, Hikaru opens up another front. Takes, you can see how the rook defends here, pawn takes, and now bishop takes c4. With bishop c4, queen c5, oh my god, look at the black pieces. Hikaru has a huge advantage, huge. Oh, he's even giving up his g-pawn, and Vasif takes it. He's now attacking here, but the very cool move now is queen takes b5, attacking the bishop here, and that should be very strong. Because the bishop, like imagine if you play bishop c3, I have bishop e2 and rook d1. He plays h3, Hikaru here. Pawn to g3, the knight can jump in now. Hikaru down to 18 seconds. Vasif has only 5 seconds. He goes knight g2. Queen c1, and now queen takes b5 is winning, but bishop e2, a blunder. Knight f6. Suddenly Vasif's back in the game. He takes it. And now notice after take everything, there's knight d7 check, losing the queen. Hikaru has blundered. He goes rook f7, but now Vasif is winning. He finds queen g5, e5 pawn falling. Oh my goodness, king a8 takes on e5. And Hikaru goes queen takes c2, rook a7 is a mate. Queen d5 blunders the queen. He blunders the queen, and Hikaru is like, sorry for that. Bishop takes pawn. He takes with a check. King comes up. And now knight goes back, but boom. And mate. Checkmate on the board. That was just so exciting at the end. Hikaru Nakamura managing to win under the time scramble. But let's just rewind to what happened. In this position, Hikaru is completely winning. He's just brought his bishop here. He's just brought his queen here. But Vasif now snatches the pawn. He is attacking the f6 pawn, and with 29 seconds, Hikaru could have played queen b5, attacking the bishop. Here, a move like bishop c3 is met with bishop e2, attacking the knight, and rook d1. So if knight to f6, rook d1, and black wins. Unfortunately, Hikaru plays the move h3, which is still fine because after g3, knight g2, he's winning. But suddenly here, instead of taking the pawn on b5, when after queen b5, knight f6, there's rook d1, queen d1, rook d1, and queen takes b2. It looks scary with the two rooks here and the knight, but white cannot win here, and black is winning. So Hikaru blunders with bishop e2. He sees that this is hanging, he sees that rook d1 is coming, and he plays it. But Vasif very quickly goes knight f6, and now Hikaru in 14 seconds has to calculate that takes, queen takes, bishop takes is actually dangerous because of rook takes a7 and a check coming in, a check and a check coming in here. So he decides against it and he plays the move rook f7. But this is a blunder because now queen g5, very good move found in 2 seconds by Vasif. King a8, and in comes the move queen e5, another great move. Now if you trade the queens, this is game over. Suddenly white pieces are just so much better and black pieces don't know what they're doing. So Hikaru, good or bad, went into queen takes c2. Here the game is literally over if Vasif would have found rook a7. Takes, 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 check. Now the king has to go to the last rank, and so you take here, king a7, queen e7, king b8, and I mean bishop e5 is coming, so maybe king a8 is a better move. And here you can simply give a check here. If king b8, there's bishop e5, so king b7. But I come here, you have to go on a dark square, and eventually with bishop e5, knight, bishop, and queen, it is a checkmate here, which is going to be amazing. Vasif, who had 2 seconds, naturally couldn't keep his nerves here. 3 seconds, in fact, played queen d5 check, and that was all that Hikaru needed. He was super quick. He chopped off the pawn, and when he got a chance now, he spotted the mate in 3 moves. Takes, king h1, and boom, check. After take here, it's a checkmate.